Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are doing a Project Pan update. Alright, going in order of, and I know this has been a long time coming, I don't know why I put off doing an update for this video, but I was just working a lot and got a lot of burnout and whatnot, so that's why I haven't really been uploading a lot. So alrighty, so first up we've got my L'Oreal Infallible foundation in the shade 410. And I haven't gotten any, windowing in the packaging, so it's kind of stayed the same as in, where the line is right there, but, I feel like once I start getting more into, the routine of my makeup and whatnot, I will be able to get a little bit more of, a dent in this, because I've only used this maybe a couple more times after my update because I haven't really been doing my makeup because of work, if that makes sense. But I have used this a total of 9 times in the course of the project. Alrighty, and next up, I don't have the product with me, but the primer that I had, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Water Drop Primer in Cucumber, I lost that while I was moving, and I didn't know, and either myself or my boyfriend maybe threw it out, I don't know, but either way, it probably wasn't even worth saving anyways, because it was pretty old, but I did cut it in half and place it in a plastic bag, so that may have been why, but we were right there at the end of, or when I lost it basically, and I used it about 7 times in the course of the project. And since that isn't empty, I will be rolling in a new primer. An empty as in lost and can't be found, I guess. But next up, I've got my Poreless Putty Primer by e.l.f. And I'm getting a little bit more of a dip on it, as you can see. I have used it now 12 times in the course of this project, and I have no complaints about it. It's, it blurs out where I need it to, I guess you could say, but I wouldn't use it for all over my face. I target it in specific areas. Alrighty, next up, where did my concealer go? Please hold while I try to find my concealer. Where would I put it? Whew, sorry about that. It took me a second to find my e.l.f. Camo Concealer because it was hidden in another compartment, I guess, but, alrighty. It hasn't really shown any markings from, like demarcation or anything, or like windowing. So the line has pretty much stayed the same, but it is in the shade Fair Warm, which I've been using this color corrector to kind of, along with it, to kind of tone down the, you know, the warm kind of yellowy undertone of it, because I really don't like the undertone of this concealer, but I will use it up just to use it up. But this I'm just going to be using organically, like, just as a color corrector anyways. And I've used that in a total of 9 times in the course of this project. Alright. Next up, we've got my Revolution Fast Base concealer, or yeah, foundation stick in the shade F4. And if I roll it up, that is how much we have left. And even though I've used it maybe like 2 or 3 times, like after the last update, like it hasn't really gone down in terms of like marking wise, but I've used quite a bit of product, I feel. Like I use this to mainly just carve out my brows and that's it, but like I feel like I use quite a bit of product to actually clean it up. If that makes sense. Like, I feel like that may be a lot, but I will work through it in the course of the year. And that is the one more thing that I am going to be more consistent on, is filming and doing Shop My Stashes and Get Ready With Me's. And also to use my Project Pan makeup. Because I haven't been doing that. I've been slacking because of burnout. But next up is my Milani eyeshadow primer in the shade 01 Nude. And it hasn't gone down from the second marking because there's a lot of air in it, and I can't really push a lot out without it coming out all over the place, basically. But I have used it 11 times in the course of the project, and as you can see, that's where kind of are with that. Alright. Next up for the brow product is my Wet n Wild Ultimate Retractable Brow Pencil in the shade Medium Brown. And that is how much we have left. And I feel like I do use a lot of this in my brows because it's kind of more of a waxier formula, so you kind of have to go over it several times in your brows for it to actually do that. But that is the jump that happened. For only using it 11 times now, like, that's some pretty good progress. Like, I can see why people say brow products are probably the easiest thing to use up. But I thought this would actually, like, be a little harder, I guess, because it's more of a triangulated brow pencil, I guess you could say, like a thicker brow pencil. But I don't mind them. It actually looks really good in the brows. Next up is, I don't have the packaging with me because I threw it out, but, that lipstick by Academy of Color in the pale pink shade that had no visible shade name. I kind of had to throw it out because it didn't really wear too nice on the lips. It kept pilling. Like, it would catch onto my chapped lips and literally make it look like it was balling up on my lips. So, yeah, I had to throw that out because I was not enjoying it, but that is where we ended with how much we had. But I'm not mad just because I did have that lipstick for a long time and I probably should have thrown it out sooner, honestly. You guys probably would think so, but yeah, I used that a total of 6 times in the course of the project, so because that is rolling out, I will be rolling in a new lipstick. Alrighty. Next for mascara, I've got my Maybelline Lash Sensational in shade brown black, basically. Like, it's, I explained in my intro video for the project pan that this is a brown black mascara, and I have used it now a total of 10 times in the course of the project, and it's still going. Like, I know they say throw mascaras away after the 3-month mark, but it hasn't been giving me problems, it hasn't been irritating my eyes, so I'm just gonna use it until it's all dried up. But next up, for liquid eyeliner, we've got the ColourPop LA liquid liner in black, and I have used it a total of 10 times in the course of the project. And I did say in the intro that it was a felt tip, so I will use it until it completely dries out. I'm not a huge fan of this, only because, like, when I try to draw a very thin eyeliner across my eye, it kind of gets a little too big, I guess you could say. And it kind of covers up a lot of what I, like, did for eyeshadow wise. So I'll have to figure out how to utilize this better so it's not so thick, but I don't mind, in all honesty. Next up, for waterline eyeliner, I've got my NYX retractable eyeliner in the shade black, and I have used it a total of 11 times in the course of the project. And that is how much we have left. And I did make a little bit of a jump right here. Like, it's gradually going down. I don't expect it to go down, like, majorly. But, like, I will try to incorporate it more in, like, day-to-day, like, I could just use, like, these two together on a day-to-day, basically. And, like, because I work in a cooler, I can't be wearing a whole bunch of foundation and everything because my nose runs and it'll completely ruin, like, all of it. I just will stick to under eyeliner and mascara and maybe do my brows, maybe. But next up, we've got my e.l.f. contour palette, and in the shade light medium, and this is the shade I was working on. As you can see, like, I haven't gotten too much of a terrible dip on it because I only use it to contour my nose really now, because I really don't like the shadow that it casts right here. Like, I figured if I'm going to add color here, it's just gonna be bronzer. But, I have used it a total of 9 times in the course of the project. And, yeah, I know this will take me a long time, but like I said, this is a rolling project pan, so it's gonna be like in for the long haul. Alrighty, next up, I've got my Vanilla Peach Truffle palette by BH Cosmetics, which I feel so bad that they're not even in business anymore. I know a makeup company bought them out, like I think it was Makeup Revolution or something like that, but it's just not the same. You know what I mean? Like, we'll never get this again. And, like, I might buy the Sweet Shop palettes, you know, secondhand, basically. Like, I might just do that, since I can't find them anywhere, but, like, those were the best palettes to come out of BH Cosmetics. I mean, I have the Mimosa palette and the, Trendy in Tokyo palette, but, like, other than that, like, I would like some more BH cosmetic palettes, but this is the shade that we are working on. As you can see, I've gotten a little bit more of a dip, and I've gotten the embossing down just a little bit more. Still nowhere close to pan, but, like, I love this blush a lot, so I do not mind working on it for a long time. Like, this blush palette is literally so pretty. It'll last me so long. But I don't mind that. But I have used that a total of 11 times in the course of the project, that first shade. Alright. Next up, I've got my LA Girl Ultimate Auto Stay Lip Liner. And it's been rolling up for me pretty nicely, so, like, I'm glad for that. That is how much we have left. This is being nice to me. You saw in my last videos that it literally would not roll up for me. Or roll back, you know, it would roll up a little bit and not roll back down, but for not using my lip liner that much, I've made a little bit of a jump right there. And I've used it a total of 8 times in the course of the project now. And I've maybe, like I've said, I've only done my makeup maybe like 2 or 3 times during the course of like 3 or 4 months, but like, it was only because I was burnt out, so it's not like, you know, like, yeah, it's just a thing that I have to deal with. It's not necessarily anything. Alrighty, next up for bronzer, I've got my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 03 Suntan. And I still am nowhere close to pan, but I have been wearing down the middle of the embossing, as you can see. Like, the middle of the sun rings are starting to go down, but, like, this is almost gonna be a never-ending bronzer, like, I can just tell. But I love the finish of this bronzer, so I really don't mind. And will I repurchase this in the future? Yes. Alrighty, next up I've got my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in the shade 05 Fair. And I haven't really made any new markings on here because I can't really tell if I've used any up, I guess you could say. Like, I guess you can see like a little tiny gap right there, but I'm not gonna really mark it too much because, like, I want to see like a considerable dip, like, before I make a new line marking, you know? Because I feel like I only use this under my eyes. Like, I'm not using it all over the face because I just don't like how it feels on my face, like it tightens the face. And for me, like, I would just like for it to be under my eyes and that's it, because it's really blurring underneath the eyes. So I do not mind that. And I have used that a total of 11 times in the course of the project. Alrighty, next up for highlighter, I've got my Revolution highlighter in the, Revolution Reloaded highlighter in the shade Dare to Divulge. And that is what that is looking like. I feel like I have been making a little bit of progress in a little bit wearing down that middle ring almost. Like, it's kind of like a wavy texture, so like I've been like focusing like right here. So maybe, just maybe, like, I know I'm nowhere close to pan, but like I like this highlighter anyways, so I don't mind working on it. It's just really beat up because it's like older packaging. Like, I got this a while ago, so I really don't mind. Alrighty, next up, we've got my eyeshadow palettes, and I finally found the little plastic thing that has the shade names on it, so I was able to write down the shades that I have currently rolled in. Let me just swatch out my current makeup, or my current eyeshadow roll in on my hand. But yeah, there's our current color story. I don't know if you can see the shimmers very well in this lighting, but that is the mauve purpley brown shade. That is the lid setting shade. That is the gold shade. That is the lighter kind of champagne-y gold shade, and that is the green. Open up the swatches. These makeup wipes are really working well, because, I mean, the ones that I was using previously kind of dried out my face when I was kind of using them, so I'm not going to use them very often. I still have like maybe 6 more, but I got these like in a bulk pack, so like I have like a lot more makeup wipes now. But yeah, that is our current color story. And alright, so we have the shade number 2 Swipe Right, and I've used that a total of 9 times in the course of the project. And that was like the lighter champagne gold that goes on the inner corner that I have on today. All of my palette, like all my shades of my palette is on my eyes today. Alright. Next up is shade 15. Next up is the shade Shameless, which is the more gold, like opaque gold, I guess you could say. You can see it more in the lighting here, I guess you could say. Like, this is lighter than this one. Still a little bit of stuff on my finger, geez. But, yeah, you can really see it more in this lighting than previously, but, I've used that now a total of 9 times in the course of the project. Next up is shade number 5, which is Seduced, which is the mauvey purpley brown, which is what I have deepened like all over my crease basically. Like in lighting it looks more purple. Like it looks like a mauvey purple more than a brown, but like there are like hints of brown in it, if that makes sense. But yeah, as you can see, it's kind of, yeah, like more of that mauvey purple shade, which I really don't mind at all. Like, it looks rather nice in the crease, and I do deepen it with a black, obviously, like, from this palette. So, like, I'm using the black organically, so I'm never gonna, like, roll a black in to focus on it, if that makes sense. But I have used Seduced a total of 9 times now in the course of the project. The next shade is number 9, Go Nude, which is the lid setting shade, which is right underneath that. I don't know if you'd be able to see it. It's pretty light. It's basically the same color as my eyelid tone, so yeah, it's gonna blend in pretty easily. Like, it's what I use to set my lid. And I've used that a total of 8 times in the course of the project. Alrighty, next up is the shade number 7, which is Devoted. And I've used that a total of 8 times in the course of the project, and I will show you what the dips are looking like. That is shade number 2. Or wait, should I? I feel like maybe I should point you guys down a little bit more and maybe do that. Maybe not. I was trying to find like an angle to where like I could show the shades without it being like, but yeah. There we go. That is the shade Swipe Right. And this one is the lid setting shade Go Nude. That one is not Devoted, but Seduced, I think. Yeah, Seduced. Yeah. That is the shade Seduced, and as you can see, I have like a little bit of a dip right there. I use like more of a dense brush with this shade because I really like it to smoke and grunge it out. And as you can see, number 2 has a little bit of a dip on it because I use a flat shader brush. And then right there is the shade Shameless, I think. And that's the more the more opaque gold. And as you can see, I've got a little bit of a dip on it. I'm not really close to pan on any of these, but I'm in for the long haul, so I'm okay. And then, we've got this, the green shade, Devoted. And I use more of like a flatter kind of like a waterline brush, basically, so that I can use this on my lash line. Because I don't really like to use greens a lot, as I've mentioned on my channel, which, like, it can be anybody else's cup of tea, I don't mind that, but it's just like, if I'm gonna go green, it's gonna be really, really grungy green. And this is more of a grungy green, so I could use this, like, all over, maybe, one day. Maybe for St. Patrick's Day, who knows. but I think that is all the shades. The Go Nude shade doesn't really have that much of a terrible dip on it. I don't really think I can see it that much, but with the other shades I can really kind of tell where I've dipped in, I guess. So yeah, that is the Morphe 35V Stunning Vibes palette, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you can still get this. Like, I think you maybe can on Ulta's website, but I'm not quite too sure. I got this a while ago. I know there are certain palettes that you can't get, like the Such a Gem palette, which I really want to get secondhand. But anyways, sidetrack there. Next up we've got my Alley-Oop Stack the Odds Cream Face Compact. And I've already decided to kind of more or less roll out this cream highlighter shade for now until summertime, because I feel like this gets a lot more use in the summertime because I'm more, well, I mean, in the wintertime here in Montana, you don't wear a t-shirt or anything in the winter, for frick's sake. You've got to be crazy. Alrighty, so first up we've got Bear. But first up we've got the bronzer in the Sunkissed palette, and as you can see, I've actually almost hit pan. You can see a little bit of the ring from the underside of the compact, so with maybe a few more uses, I can maybe get pan on this, which I'm not gonna roll it out as soon as I hit pan. Like, I want to use this up because it's a cream product. So yeah, like, I will definitely be focusing on this. Next up is the cream blush. Oh, with the bronzer I've used it a total of 11 times, and with the blush I've used 11 times. And the highlighter I've used 5 times. But the blush doesn't have nearly as much of a dip on it as the bronzer does, because I feel like the bronzer is a little more giving and a little more, like, blendable, I guess you could say. Like, it blends out pretty nicely on the cheeks. But this blush is really pigmented, so you don't really need a lot of it to cover what you need. But yeah, this highlighter I'm just gonna roll out for now and just focus on the blush and the bronzer, and then I'm gonna roll this back in the summertime. Because I'm planning on going outside a lot more, I guess, in the summertime. Alrighty. Next up, we've got another empty here, and it is my e.l.f. Glitter Liquid Shadow in the shade Flirty Birdie, and I mean, I know you can't really see it by the packaging, but it is so dried out. Like, it's not even wet anymore on the applicator. Like, the applicator is dry. I can't really pick up any more product. And I'm not going to try to pull the stopper because the stopper right here is really, really dense. Like a really dense plastic, so I'm not going to do that and ruin the packaging. But if I can find more of these, I will purchase more and more shades, including Flirty Birdie, because I really did enjoy this. During Christmas, I kind of used this all over the lid with like my bronzer in the crease because I kind of wanted to be a little bit more simple. But this was really, really pretty all over the lid. like, it gave a really nice amount of sparkle, and I feel like more shades would be really, really nice, I guess. So that is officially done. Rolling out. Alrighty. Alrighty. So now for the new roll-ins. I've decided for my primer that I am going to roll in my, like, and this might shift, like, more or less come summertime, because I don't know how I feel about this during the summertime, because it is more of like a dewy, sort of hydrating primer, I guess you could say. But I've got the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. And with the packaging, I know I'm not going to be able to see through this. Like, I might, oh, actually with the lighting where I am, I might be able to see that right here. But it's pretty opaque packaging. It is full size. I did get it in through BoxyCharm when it was still BoxyCharm, when it was still good. But yeah, I really do enjoy this primer right now. Like, it does give a really nice sort of, like, it helps with my foundation to not look so cakey. Like, and that's why I think, like, maybe I'm more, like, dry-skinned around, like, this area, and I just get oily right here, so, like, I don't mind having a more hydrating primer to, like, go all over my face, I guess. And I have used that a total now of 3 times since, like, I mean, I have rolled it in now, but I've gotten 3 uses previously on it, if that makes sense. And then next up for my lipstick roll-in, I am going to be rolling in a Maybelline cream lipstick in the shade 920 Nude Lust. And that is how much we have. It is a full lipstick, and I don't mind because it's a really good everyday shade is what I'm wearing today. And as you can see, since it's a cream formula, it has more of like a glossy kind of finish to it, which feels a lot more hydrating. It's not really that drying, so I really don't mind that. I just take it off every once in a while to, like, maybe eat or drink or, you know, smoke weed and whatnot. But I have used that now 2 times in the course of the project. I only have it marked down once, but I'm going to mark it again to signify that I did use it again today. And I'm gonna write in another roll in, if I can find it. Alright, so since I rolled out the liquid eyeshadow in the shade Flirty Birdie by e.l.f., I am going to roll in another liquid eyeshadow, and this is the Haus Labs liquid eyeshadow in the shade Glam Attack. And that is it right there. I know I put a lot on, but a lot came out of the applicator, or on the applicator. So yeah, it is a silvery sort of shade, which I don't really mind. I'm trying to, like, pat out some of the chunkiness so it, like, shows up a little bit more. Like, it looks really nice on the finger and whatnot. and I feel like I will get use out of it. Like, I like more of like a light shade, almost like this, where I can use it. But yeah. And I will write down this in my notebook, I just haven't yet. But yeah, this is my new roll-in, the shade Glam Attack. Alrighty, and I think that will be it for this update. I will try to update again in 2 months. I definitely am going to try to get more into, like, filming and whatnot, and maybe doing a collection video one of these days. I know I've promised that a lot on this channel. I've said that I'm gonna do a collection video, but I have a lot of makeup, so I might have to do like just eyeshadow palettes and just bronzers and you know all categories, like I'm not gonna exactly do all of it in one video because that would take so long, like so long. But anyways, that is it for this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!